freedom of speech is dependent on love your enemies. If you really strongly disagree with someone and even think their ideas are pernicious, it doesn't mean you should punch them in the face. You're allowed to, vehemently disagree and work out issues in the Western tradition without hating people. But Islam has trouble with that. It has trouble accepting dissent. The response to dissent is to suppress it violently. So the concept of freedom of speech, I think, is fundamentally grounded in the love your enemy teaching of Jesus. And insofar as Western nations are stepping away from Christ, they're also losing the instinct for freedom of speech. We see that in many different ways.
It's also fundamentally undergirded by an Islamic anthropology. Like, what it is to be a human is very different in Islam. It's not merely that your status before God is that he's created you as a slave or a servant, but you are not made in the image of God. That is deeply Christian teaching. In fact, the Quran denies that, or Islam denies that, because that is in some way, Mark mentioned before, this sin of Islam is shirk, associating anything with God. And so the idea that we are in any way an image of God or somehow like God is entirely offensive to Islam. But it's the grounding of a Christian view of what it is to be human and why we're so valuable and why even our enemies are valuable, because they are made in the image of God. They're precious, and we see something of who God is in them, and we know that he loves them. There's none of that in Islam.